All right, we're going to take a look at the sum and difference of cubes. So we're going to factor the sum and difference of cubes. Now, the sum and difference of cubes is kind of similar-ish to the difference of squares. If you remember, if you have two perfect squares, a squared minus b squared, it factors into a plus b, a minus b. So all you need to do is find what your a and b is, and you can do the pattern. So if I had a squared minus 4b squared, well, my square root of that would be a, square root of that would be 2b, so I could say that this is a plus 2b, a minus 2b. Sometimes we have to factor first, so if I factored out that 2, well, I could take this and I can think, okay, what's the square root of each of these, right? And I can get a, and then that would be the square root of 8. So I have a plus the square root of 8, and then, sorry, it's x. And then x minus the square root of 8. And you can simplify the square roots from there. For something like this, right, the square root of that would be x squared. The square root of that would be y squared. So it would be a plus b, a minus b. Well, this is also a difference of squares. So that would be the fully factored form. Now, the sum and difference of cubes, sum, adding, difference, subtracting, cubes, these are perfect cubes. It actually has its own special factoring as well. And so, depending if it's a plus, see how the plus is on top, you take the signs on top. If it's a minus, you take the signs on the bottom. So, we still just need to identify a and b, so you take the cube root of each, so the cube root would be x, the cube root would be 1, so there's my a and there's my b. So in this case, because it's minus, I'd use the bottom one, so it's going to be a minus b, and then a squared plus a times b, so 1 times x, and then plus b squared. I know it's kind of weird, right? Same thing here. Cube root it, you get x. Cube root it, you get 3. So I have my a, I have my b. Because it's minus, you're going to use the bottom one. So minus plus plus. So a minus b, a squared plus a times b, so 3 times x, and then plus b squared. And now it's factored. Now, instead of memorizing that formula, we can use a song to help us. So here's the lyrics to the song. We have it right here. They copied Jingle Bells from my song, so it's very honorary in that sense. But essentially, you just set up the problem by taking the cube root of each. And so here's x and 2. And for the song purposes, we're going to say that this is first and this is going to be last. And so we're thinking of it in terms of this, right? You know, stuff is going to go here, stuff is going to go here. But the song puts it in places for us. So we say, first times first is first. Last times last is last. First times last is in the middle, isn't this a blast? The first sign's from the problem. The second's it's reversed. The last sign's always positive no matter what the first. Oh, sums of cubes, difference of cubes, this is so much fun. I can hardly wait until all of these are done. It's factored. So get another one. Set it up, take the cube root, take the cube root. We sing the song. First times first is first. Last times last is last. First times last is in the middle, isn't this a blast? The first sign's from the problem. The second's it's reversed. The last sign's always positive no matter what the first. And it's factored. Let's try one more. Now sometimes there's something in common and we have to factor that out. I'll pretend that this is a cube. We have x cubed, and then minus 8. So we factored out that cube. So cube root is x, cube root is 2. So we're going to have x and 2. First times first is first. Last times last is last. First times last is in the middle, isn't this a blast? The first sign's from the problem, so it's a minus. The second, it's reversed. The last sign's always positive no matter what the first. And then I factored out that 2, so I can't forget that. So what did we learn today? We learned how to factor a sum and difference of cubes. Now you can memorize the formula, or you can sing the song. This does conclude our lesson. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments.